This video is brought to you by Moft. When considering the perfect iPad for students, you should consider these key factors: performance, screen size, battery life, accessory support, storage, and budget. And I think this one might be it. The iPad Air M3 has kept the same design and display of the previous two models, but it now packs an M3 chip, which gives it that iPad Pro level performance. With its design, I've always been a big fan of the iPad Air's thin and minimal aluminium look. On the hands it feels great, and it's as elegant and sturdy as ever. Measuring 11.04 by 8.46 by 0.24 inches and weighing 1.36 pounds, which is incredibly light. You can literally slip it into your backpack very easily. On the hands it feels great to hold, and it's perfect if you'd like to watch videos or read through some articles. This tablet doesn't have Face ID, which is kind of annoying, especially in 2025. However, Touch ID works great and it makes it simple to unlock. As before, the iPad Air comes in 4 colors: blue, purple, starlight, and space gray. I went with starlight that comes in a nice frosted matte finish, and I really like it, but it would have been nice to see a new color added on. It features the same 2732 by 2048 liquid retina display as the previous model, although it would have been nice to see Apple add an OLED panel. But overall, we are still getting a sharp and vibrant display. One thing that's quite crazy to me is that there's still no promotion on the M3 iPad Air, when an iPad Pro had it with a 5-year-old A12Z chip. It would have been nice to see Apple ditch this bezel right here, or at least make it less noticeable, but it's not that much of a deal breaker. Watching high-res videos look great on it, and you can seriously see how clear and vivid the colors are, and the sharpness is perfect. Gaming on this looks fantastic with its solid contrasts and smooth motions. Whether it's reading articles or watching videos, the iPad Air's display doesn't disappoint. On the whole, colors look vibrant and overall contrast is good, with a deep black level and pearly whites. One particular annoyance is that the refresh rate is only 60Hz rather than 120Hz. It's certainly a consideration for avid gamers to keep in mind, but it's unlikely to be a deal breaker for anyone looking to use the iPad Air as a productivity tablet. Also, the 11-inch iPad Air's screen can get a little cramped with multiple apps open, which is why you may want to consider the 13-inch model if you're gonna multitask a lot. Also, that extra screen space makes it perfect for multitasking, especially if you're someone that takes notes while watching videos. If you're someone who spends a lot of time outside, it would have been nice to be able to opt for a nano texture display so you can avoid the glare. There's an anti-reflective coating which helps. It's fully laminated, which is something that makes a difference in everyday use, especially if you're using the Apple Pencil, and the 600 nits of brightness on this one kind of makes up for it. Sure, Apple's Magic Keyboard is slick, but that price tag is definitely not student friendly. To be honest, you really only need a reliable Bluetooth keyboard like this one and you're good to go. If you're shopping for iPad accessories, here's what you actually need. Remember, the aim is to transform it into an interactive tablet and not a laptop replacement. My true must-haves are this float case folio by Moft, and the other one is the Apple Pencil. But with so many cases on the market, it's tough to pick one until you meet the Moft Dynamic Folio, the lightest floating creative station I've ever used. I've been rocking Moft accessories for quite some time now, so when I say I literally ditched Apple's folio case, I mean it. The origami inspired design makes it ultra portable yet crazy versatile. Just one quick fold lifts your iPad 2 to 3 inches off the desk for better ergonomics. You've got endless angles, 5 go-to positions, plus about 20 more you'll just have to experiment with. I have a few that I like to go with. The first one is the floating creation mode, which gives you a 30 degrees tilt and 2 inches of lift. I find this to be perfect for sketching, note-taking, or editing photos on Lightroom. I genuinely think this angle is clutch for all the students out there. The next one is theater mode, which is ideal for watching movies, reference browsing, or using your iPad as a second screen alongside your laptop. This one is definitely not bad if you want to catch up on your lectures. The next one is portrait reading mode, which keeps articles, ebooks and social media feeds at that nice viewing angle. You can also go for the dual screen mode. This is pretty cool because it allows you to pair your iPhone next to your iPad for seamless multitasking, where you can join a video call on one and take notes on the other. The last one is the leg mount mode. So what it basically does is you can fold it into a super stable grip for when your iPad's on your knee. This is perfect for rehearsals, meetings or some planning. What I love about this is that it weighs just 10.5 ounces. The Moth Dynamic Folio adds almost zero bulk, as you can see. It's slim, sturdy and the magnets hold it nice and tight. Usually I would opt for the Smart Folio case from Apple, and this thing is not versatile at all. So I'll be ditching this case and sticking with the Moth case that comes at a fraction of the price. If you guys would like to check it out, I will leave a link in the description below. The second must-have accessory is the Apple Pencil. This thing is essential, especially if you do a lot of note taking. If you want to draw or write on the iPad Air, you either need the Apple Pencil USB-C or the Apple Pencil Pro. The Pro Pencil is probably the best one to go for since it has extra features like barrel roll, haptic feedback and squeeze gestures, which all help make the stylus more intuitive to use, and it fits perfectly when docked on the iPad to recharge. I tend to use it alongside my favorite note-taking app, which is Notability, and it works great with it. Performance wise, iPads have never truly disappointed, and considering this is the M3 chip that comes with 8GB of RAM. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of performance scores, but for reference, here are some Geekbench score numbers. The multitasking feature works great, allowing you to navigate seamlessly between different windows, and you can truly make the most of the screen size. Look, this is an exceptionally powerful tablet that's more than capable of handling everyday tasks from emails, browsing and watching content to more heavy duty tasks such as image editing and video rendering with relative ease. What you get here is a flawless operating experience without any lag. I feel like iPads are coming with such powerful chips that you can barely even notice the jump in performance if you compare it to the M2. Of course, more power isn't something to complain about, and this model further closes the gap between the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. You can use this to power up an external display, or it can be used with your laptop as an additional screen, which I found to be pretty handy, especially when I'm abroad. Also, if you have any documents to transfer, you can use the USB-C port to transfer files at 10 gigabits per second. When it comes to storage, the first thing you should consider is your budget. If you're someone who's on a tight budget, I would recommend going for either 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes of storage, and instead use that money to buy accessories like the Apple Pencil, or you can get an external SSD like this one if you want to avoid paying extra on Apple storage upgrades. I went with 128 gigabytes because I don't tend to store a lot of things on it, as most of my files are on my external SSD. The iPad Air has a 12 megapixel camera on both the front and back, and they both deliver sharp and clear images. This will be great if you need to capture documents or any notes. Video calls look great, and center stage works perfectly, as you can see. With this Moth case, you can use your iPhone as your camera for video calls while you take notes on your iPad, which is actually pretty handy. The front camera does an excellent job of capturing my skin tone, so it's fair to say that it does quite a decent job. The main camera is also quite capable, as you can see, and it definitely won't let you down. If you revolve around the Apple ecosystem, the AirDrop feature is super clutch if you would like to send documents and literally have them printed off seamlessly. We have the stereo speakers that are found on both sides of the iPad when it's held in landscape mode, and these actually sound amazing if you like to play music.
That y'all turned me into the villain, I couldn't escape. Not saying I'm the best at what I do, I'm just saying that it's me versus whoever wanna lose.
Or even catch up on your lectures.
Yes, anomalies. So long as they do not accumulate and destructure.
Analyze relations between states or even between state governance.
Apple claims the iPad Air M3 has up to 10 hours of battery life over Wi-Fi with web surfing and video streaming. In my experience, I've been getting around 8 to 9 hours of battery consistently, and that's still pretty impressive. But for students out there, this should definitely last you a full workday, unless you're really pushing this tablet with a ton of apps like I've been doing. The 13-inch has a built-in 36.59 watt-hour rechargeable lithium polymer battery, which is slightly larger than the 11-inch model. But obviously, carrying something like a power bank in your backpack is always handy to keep you powered throughout the day. Look, now when it comes to making that decision on whether this iPad is worth buying, I think there are a few important factors that need to be taken into account. Firstly, this thing is super portable and lightweight, so you can easily put it in your bag and carry it around with you on the go. It has a nice durable build quality with its solid aluminium chassis. The display quality looks great on the 13-inch, but I would have really loved to see a Pro Motion display, but then again, it's not a major deal breaker. The next one is the battery life. With the 13-inch, you get a slightly bigger battery than the 11-inch Air, so you're pretty much looking at getting up to 8 to 10 hours of continuous use, and this was based on my experience. But at the same time, it's worth having a power bank to carry with you on the go. Performance-wise, this has an M3 chip, which is perfect for multitasking and carrying out demanding tasks. However, it has to be said that the M2 iPad Air has never been short on power. So if you're coming from an M2 iPad Air, an M3 upgrade may not be necessary. And if you're on a tight budget, you can even opt for the M2 iPad Air for a fraction of the price. Of course, I know the Apple Pencil Pro is a bit pricey, but this pen is a must-have for students. It is clutch for note-taking, annotating, and drawing diagrams. Also, combining it with this moft case literally makes your iPad super versatile. For additional accessories like the smart keyboard, I wouldn't say it's a must-have. And also, make sure you make use of Apple's educational discount to knock off a few dollars. Overall, I think the 13-inch M3 iPad Air is ideally one of the best iPad for students in 2025, simply because it combines a large bright retina display with laptop level performance in a thin portable package. It handles multitasking and note-taking easily, it offers that long battery life, and works with the pencil and any keyboard accessories, and this all comes at a lower price than the Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.